My friend, the Constitution has many virtues. He is a voluminous and a complicated person. Sometimes, even I don't understand this person. But some of his features are good for our country. These features have helped us run the country very efficiently. One of the main features of the Indian Constitution is federalism. The word federalism is derived from the Latin word fidus, which means alliance. Do you think I'm hinting at some sort of alliance within the Indian territory? No. India's states are not part of any alliance. They are an integral part of the entire country. In other words, none of them have the right to separate from India. But different levels of the government have been created to distribute power. All levels of government deserve equal respect. The central government and the state government are free to frame laws. Citizens of India are expected to follow both sets of laws. In other words, they are governed by two sets of laws. These laws aid the central government and the state government to do their tasks. We have the central government to take care of national issues like defense, currency, telecommunications, relationships with foreign countries. The state government is responsible for handling local matters like policing, prisons, agriculture. Our federal structure doesn't end there. We have local governments in urban and rural areas as well. They are supposed to take care of the city or village level issues. They have to ensure that the people have access to clean drinking water, garbage collection, maintenance of public health facilities, parks, streetlights. These are all also a part of their job. Each level of government derives its power from the Constitution. The state government is not a subordinate of the central government. Similarly, the local government is not a subordinate of the state government. However, the power given to a particular level of government depends on the responsibilities handled by the government. So the Constitution assigns work and gives power to the central, state, and local government. Very efficient. I just cast my vote in the election. The right to vote in this election was given to me by my friend, the Constitution. All citizens of India above the age of 18 have the right to vote, like me. The idea of giving the right to vote to all adults, irrespective of their background, is called the Universal Adult Franchise. A.K. Iyer, a member of the Constituent Assembly, made an interesting remark about this provision in the Constitution. He said that this provision was provided with an abundant faith in the common man and the ultimate success of democratic rule. He also felt that the introduction of democratic government on the basis of adult suffrage will promote the well-being of the common man in India. That was pretty clear, wasn't it? The people have a direct role in electing their representatives. Only the elected representatives can occupy key leadership positions in the government. There might be exceptions. For example, the governor or officials of the government are not elected, but their appointment is done by elected representatives. So, effectively, all the key positions in the government are occupied or controlled by elected representatives of the government. So, what are these key positions? Ministers, chief ministers, and the Prime Minister of India are answerable to their respective legislatures. They have to answer questions raised by other elected representatives. We call this setup the parliamentary system of government. India is supposed to follow this system because the Constitution asks us to do so. You know what? Power is like a chocolate cake. It is irresistible. It is nice if you have it in moderate quantities, but if you eat too much of it, you'll face health issues. You might turn obese. So we try to eat it in moderate quantities. Similarly, people must also be given moderate amounts of power. Too much power gets into their heads, and they start doing illogical things. My friend, the Constitution, understands. So he has cut the cake of power into 3 pieces and distributed it to the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. That is called distribution of power, or the separation of powers.
You know what? I can beat you up with this stick. Nobody can stop me now. I have the complete freedom to beat you up. Give me 5,000 rupees or I will beat you.
No, please let go of me.
Stop, stop. What are you doing? You might have freedom, but he has fundamental rights. Your freedom is not supposed to encroach his rights. Now leave and let the gentleman explain my features to the viewers.
All right. The Constitution has given fundamental rights to all citizens. These rights protect you from oppression by the government or by other citizens. All citizens can claim these rights in courts. In fact, you can directly go to the highest court of India, the Supreme Court, to claim your fundamental rights. In addition to this, the Parliament is supposed to keep the fundamental rights in its mind while framing any law. If any of its laws violate the fundamental rights of citizens, the courts can just strike them down. Fundamental rights are very important for citizens. Otherwise, it will be very hard to ensure a decent livelihood for all citizens. Therefore, fundamental rights are called the conscience of the Constitution. Effective principles of state policy. The Constitution has also provided guidelines to the government about the tasks it should take up on priority. It has told them to create laws and policies to reduce poverty and create a better society. Another feature of the Constitution is secularism. A state that tries to stay out of religious issues is usually called a secular state. Such states follow the principle of secularism. Since India doesn't promote any religion as the state religion, we call it a secular state. Now, this didn't happen suddenly, okay? The people who created the Constitution wanted India to be a secular state. Otherwise, crores of people would be suffering because of the intervention of the government in their religious affairs every single day. Again, there are exceptions. If someone is suffering because of others' religious practices, the government steps in and bans such practices. Fundamental rights are also important, you see. Federalism, secularism, parliamentary form of governance, fundamental rights, and separation of powers between the three organs of government are a part of the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. No government or elected leader is allowed to tamper with these features of the Constitution legally. If these features are tampered with, we would not be able to recognize Mr. Constitution at all.
That's about me. That is my introduction. I'm feeling sleepy right now. Let me take some rest. I'll see you later in a courtroom or jail or a voting booth or parliament. If you happen to come there voluntarily or accidentally, we can still have a chat. Till then,